Greetings comrades, this is General Phoenix back in the action, and as you can see we are doing another deck profile for a Digimon deck, Necromons. Now this is the second deck I use. I don't own a lot of Digimon cards because I've been doing a lot. Galantmon and Necro are the only two I mainly use. The other ones I use as practice for other players and stuff. But this one, with the latest supports I've been managing to get, it helps this deck out so much. What you look at. So I'm going to start with how I normally do my builds. I'm going to start with the Digi-Eggs, then we'll go up levels 3 to 6 or any higher, and then options, and then tamers, and then we'll discuss how you can build strategies on it, what the build of it is. So, to start, we have our four Digi-Eggs, Necromon. Now, its inheritance effects. On deletion, you may return one Digimon card with the ghost trait from your trash to your hand. This is important. If you can do the build up to Necromon, this will help you out massively. You'll basically be able to reset your whole board. Next, we've got 4 copies of Ghostmon. This is your searcher. Get this. Always get this. So, on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with the ghost trait, and 1 card with a liberator trait. Now, I'm going to bring it in closer. You can see if you wanted to bring this in, another one. It's got ghost and liberator. Let's try to focus it. Yeah, but you could see in the text there's ghost there and it's liberator. And you need this. You always need your searchers because they will help you. Next, we've got our second copy of Ghostmon, 4 copies again. This one, however, will help you with your Digivolving. Oh, I forgot to mention its inheritance effect is on deletion, gain a memory. This has the same inheritance effect, so when the Digimon that's on this is evolved, that this is under, is deleted, you'll gain a memory. Now, your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with the ghost trait, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. So if you're summoning out your level 4s, you only have to pay 1. Which, again, the less memory you're paying to play stuff, the more you can use the final move for Necromon, which can give you a massive advantage doing your board reset board. Okay, so next we've got our 4 copies for our last level 3, Candlemon. Now, it is a flame, however, this has the ghost trait, and it says here, rule, trait has ghost type. Now, its on-field effect is retaliation, so when this Digimon is deleted in battle, delete the Digimon it battled. Its inheritance effect, on deletion by trashing 1 card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. This could help you. I've managed to use that in deleting my opponent's fields before he's even been able to summon out level 4s and 5s. And as a result, though, my opponent actually forfeited the whole tournament because he was having a bad day already, but the fact that I was able to clear his board and get down in 2 turns get him down for security in basically 2 hits was, for him, it just hit him. Okay, now we're on our level 4s, the first one being 1 copy of Bakemon. Now, its on-field effect, when Digivolving, if you have 1 or fewer tamers, you may play evict Violet Inboots from your hand without paying the cost. Always get 4 of these, you always want your tamers. And the primary tamer I've got, that is the one you need to build up this. To make this deck basically summon, play all the effects. Now, our second copy of Bakemon, 4 as well. When Digivolving or on deletion, draw 1 card, then trash a card in your hand. So you're basically drawing 2 cards and then discarding 1. Because when you Digivolve, you draw your card, its effect, draw a card, and then I have another one I don't need, trash it. This could help you out. This can actually help you in the long run against certain builds. And then next we've got 2 copies of Soulmon. This one has 2 effects, so it's in... Did I mention it's in... And no, sorry, this one's inheritance effect is retaliation. I'm sorry, I forget all about these. Its inheritance effects. And this one's gain 1 memory. So, let's say you had them both on the field. the Digimon over at level 5 or 6 will have retaliation. So if you wanted to get rid of your opponent's monsters, you can do that. But if you wanted to gain a memory, you've got it there. Okay, now we're on our 2 copies of Soulmon. On play, or when digivolving, one of your Digimon gains retaliation until the end of your opponent's turn. You'll see why there's retaliation in this, but you'll see why the main effect is. But retaliation will help. On delete, so this is the inheritance effect. On deletion, by trashing one card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lowers. So, again, this is similar to Candlemon. Now we're on level 5s. First, you have your 4 copies of Phantomon. This is the one you want. This can help you if you can't get to your level 6, because it can still help you reset the board. Now, on the top it has Execute. Execute means at the end of your turn, this Digimon may attack at the end of that. And at the end of that attack, this Digimon gets deleted. You delete this Digimon. Your opponent's unsuspended Digimon can also be attacked by this effect. So what it means is, to give you an example, let's say I've summoned it, but I have zero memory. I do that, but I have no other monsters but I've digivolved on top to gain 3. That can attack my opponent. And then when it dies, all the effects below it will on it and below it will play out. And its on deletion effect is, you may play a 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card with the ghost trait from your trash without paying the cost. And its inheritance effect, on deletion, you may play a level 4 or lower Digimon card with the ghost trait from your trash without paying the cost. So you're getting both out of it. Which, again, that's a good thing though, because then you get level 4, you're getting even lower levels. You could even get your searcher out. And there's a reason why with Metal Phantomon, I have 3 copies. This can help you out when you're doing the certain builds, because this one, if you digivolve it on Phantomon, instead of 4, you're paying 1 memory. It doesn't have the Execute, unfortunately. That would then I think it would be a little too overpowered. Not massively, but again, but it is a blocker. And its on play, or when its digivolving effect is, by deleting one of your Digimon, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. So if you wanted, you could actually use that as a sacrificial lamb with that underneath it, just to play out a level 4 or lower. If you wanted to play out your Soulmon. You can see what, and its inheritance effect is, when on deletion, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. That could help you if you're against certain opponents. And of course, we've got, on our level 6s, put this one back, our signature Necromon. 4 copies, always get 4 copies of this one. Now, its main effects are security check +1, so it can attack, so it can check your security twice if it survives the first one. It has Execute, so again, if I digivolved it and if I digivolve it over, it can attack. But it will be but it does get deleted at the end of the battle. Now it's on play or when so its other effects are on play or when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. And its on play or on deletion effect, you may play a level 5 or lower Digimon card with the ghost trait from your trash without paying the cost. So that means, let's say I've done the whole build up from 2 to 6, I then got to do all that build. But again, it deletes one. You can check 2 of your opponent's security and you can summon out. So let's say I add this out on the field. I just summon that out as a blocker. I then play a level 4. I could play a Bakemon. I could play a Soulmon. And then I could summon out my level 3 to then do my Ghostmon to soul search, to do a search. Which is what I do a lot of with this deck. I just keep summoning out the searcher to get all the cards I want. And it kind of annoyed my opponent when I did that, because he was like, are you not going to... are you ever going to stop searching your deck? I'm like, no, because that's what this deck is for. It's meant to, for me to get all the cards I want. Now, the only other level 6 I have is a Reapermon. The reason there's not a lot of level 6s on this, and there's only 6, because that is the one you are going to keep summoning. This deck is just based on recycling the field and recycling your hand. Especially if you get your Digi-Egg. You could just keep adding that. So you can see this deck is based on destroy your own stuff, get rid of some of your opponent's stuff, gain more memory, and you can add cards and player cards, and if you've got stuff in your hand, you could basically reset your whole field, and then when you're waiting for the certain cards, you can bring stuff back to your hand. So Reapermon, one person, they put Anubismon in this, but however, when I've tested that, when I first built this deck, it wasn't really as effective as it should have been. But I found Reapermon was the most effective. If I didn't trash it because I didn't need it, I would play it to stop all other things. So it's a collision and a blocker. All turns, and once per turn, when an effect digivolves an opponent's Digimon, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. So if they try, let's say if it was Galapon Crimson Lord, that stops it. It de-digivolves it back. And on deletion, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Delete one of your opponent's play cost 4 or lower Digimon or Tamers. Which is, again, it's super effective that. You could delete one of the big Tamers, like it's a memory setter that sets them to free, or one they need to use linking. Think about that. If you deleted that yourself even, and it has the ghost trait, just so you know. So you can add it to your hand if you wanted. So immediately, you've got an advantage over your opponent, delete all their stuff. To me, that's where Reapermon is better than Anubismon. Because, again, it supports this kind of build better. Now we're up to options. Now, most people choose a certain memory booster. I chose this one. So then I'm keeping stuff in my hand if I need them, instead of trashing. So, Great Memory Boost is basically, this green is also meets this card colour requirement. So let's say you want to choose a purple-green, you could use this as a green card. It doesn't matter, you can use this in a green deck. So its main effect is, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 purple or green Digimon card among them to your hand, return the rest to the bottom of your deck. Then place this card in the battle area with delay. So what that means is, I search, that goes on the field. My next turn, I can trash that. I can send it away. I can delete it. Gain 2 memory. One time, my opponent, there were 2 of them on my security, and I basically got 4 memory, and I did a whole field build, and just trashed my opponent's entire field. Next, this is, you only need 2 of this, and it's vital to get this in the deck, because it can actually build your deck massively. So, Apparition Legion, it was a tricky one to figure out. It's a tricky one to figure out if you don't know how to do it, because there is a certain requirement to do it. So I'm going to explain after I've mentioned the main effect. So, by returning up to 9 levels total worth of Digimon cards from your opponent's trash to the bottom of the deck, you may play 1 ghost trait Digimon card for each returned card's level from the trash without paying the cost. Then the Digimon this effect's played gain the rush and blocker until the end of the opponent's turn. That can help you, especially if you summon back Necromon, and again, you basically got Execute right there. Because you can even bring out and the Ghost one you could bring back gains blocker. Now, its security effect is, you may play a level 5 or lower Digimon card with the Ghost trait from your trash without paying the cost. So bring back a Phantomon. So the way to explain it is, and I have to just bring in my deck for this. If I wanted to summon out Necromon, I can't just have it has to be 9 levels, and the total amount has to be 9 levels I give my opponent. So if I wanted to bring out Necromon, my opponent has to have a level 6 and 3. So let's say I did that. They return I send a level 6 and a level 3 from their graveyard to the bot from the trash to the bottom of the deck. I can summon out Necromon, and I summon out Ghostmon. I get the search from that. I get to delete one of his Digimon with the lowest level, and I get the search. And because that has execute, I can attack with it either way. So I'd attack with that, play its effect to play a level 5 from the graveyard, and I just keep that as a block. So when my opponent goes to attack me, block. Which to me, that's what this card, it's a gamble to, it's not a gamble to play it, believe it or not. If you meet, it can be a gamble if you don't do it, if you're rushing into the game straight off, which I've told players as well, don't rush this kind of build. Like, if you're gonna, the best way to win with that deck is to do a build up, so your opponent, you don't give your opponent room to play stuff, and you can give them low memory. That card could be used mostly as a last resort, but even I've used it on non-last resort, and I've managed to get my opponents. The next option card is 1 purple scramble. So, main effect: one of your purple Digimon may Digimon into a purple Digimon card in your hand, with the Digi-Evolution cost reduced by 3. Then place this card in the battle area. Start of your turn. If your opponent has a Digimon delay, so that's the delay is this effect. Return 1 purple Digimon card from your trash to the top of your deck from your trash to the top of the deck. Then, if you don't have a Digimon, you may play 1 purple Digimon card with 2,000 or less DP from your trash without paying the cost. So if I didn't have any, so that means I can add Necromon if I wanted back to the hand, and if I've got no creatures, I could play Ghostmon and get the searching out. I've not really needed to use that, believe it or not. It's good to have it in because you've got that ability to search stuff if you're running low on cards in your hand, if you know what I mean. But it's good. You could either trash it if you wanted to, and then you've got 1 copy of this because it is a requirement. You can only have 1 copy of this, calling from the darkness. Its effect: delete 1 of your Digimon, then return up to 2 purple Digimon cards from your trash to your hand. It can be useful. I'm not gonna lie, it can be useful. I've not really need to do it because the way the Digimon themselves are set, I basically got that full field to just play. I can just keep playing out stuff and reducing the cost and everything. And if you get this tamer out, it will help you greatly. It will massively help you. So you need 4 copies of this Violet in Boots. This is the tamer you need to really build this deck up. She's the one that will reduce your costs and help you summon out more power and let you use the execute to its prime. Now her effect is: start of your main phase, if your opponent has a Digimon, gain 1 memory. Pretty good. Now, your turn, when any of your ghost trait Digimon are deleted, by suspending this tamer, 1 of your Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with the ghost trait in the hand, with the Digi-Evolution cost reduced by 2. So let's say, for instance, I have Phantomon. Let's say I use that option to delete, let's say, a Ghostmon I've got to then search. I then use the Digi-Egg to bring back Necromon here. Her effect: I suspend, I can reduce the cost by 2. So let's say I'm on 0, my opponent only gets 2 memory, deletes his lowest level, I get the execute, I've got the set already built up, then just basically do a full circle and search. And her security is obviously a player on the field without paying the cost. So yeah, that one, I've got a few copies spare, believe it or not. One of my mates keeps asking, because he has a Necromon deck as well. It turns out, and I didn't discuss this with him, when I was building this deck, he was building it as well. So like I said, because it looked interesting to you, for him. But he said, yeah, it definitely suits you better, Leon, because the way you play, it's definitely your style. You like messing around with your opponent and just resetting your field. Which is why I like Galantmons. Next, you've got 2 copies of Analog Youth. This one can help you out massively because of this build. Now, its effect is, for a tamer, on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card among them to the hand, and trash the remaining cards. All turns, when one of your level 5 or higher Digimon with Digi-Evolution cards is deleted, you may suspend this tamer, and if you do, gain a memory, then hatch a Digi-Egg card to an empty space in your breeding area. So let's say you've summoned that out, you've deleted your level 5 or 6, let's say you've done Necro, you've done the build, you've done that, let's say you've done the 2 levels like I've said. You've basically got, let's say you've got Ghostmon and the Bakermon that lets you gain a memory. You've got that, gain a memory, get an egg. You've immediately then got a huge advantage against your opponent. And next you've got your final tamer, Violet in Boots. You only need, it is a memory setter. You don't really need this card, to be honest. It's good to have her on it just in case, or you can just trash it. I've mostly trashed her, believe it or not. Start your turn. If you have 2 or less memory, set it to 3, and start your main phase by trashing 1 option card or 1 card with Ghost or 3 Musketeers trait in your hand. Draw a card. This could help you. It could help you, but it's not. I've only ever really used her when I've, and I mostly used her when I've had 3 and I had no other Digimon to play, just to set my opponent to 1. Now, but you can see the base build of this, so I'm going to do a quick demonstration. So let's say I got a full build here of what I wanted. And this is mainly what I like to build up when it comes to my Digimon. And believe it or not, the way you can do the build as well, because with the Digivolution lists, you have to start from top to bottom. So let's say I played Execute, gets deleted. My opponent's lost 2 security. That's there. Now it's this first effect. I play this. This de-digivolved one of them. So I'm going to put this here just to give a reference, and I do that to my opponents. I'm just going to do this here so you know what the cycle is. Next level 5, I can play a level 4 or lower. I'm going to play Ghostmon. That's there. And then these 2 have the same effect. So let's say I had 2 memory. Let's say that's the case, or let's say I paid the full 4 to get my pawn out. There's 2 instead. Then this card's effect. I'm going to bring back Necromon if I don't have anything else. But let's say I've cleared my opponent's field out, but they've only got 2 memory. They don't have a memory setter. My opponent's already at a disadvantage immediately. So you get the build of what you can do. I've got a searcher, search my cards. I've got a blocker. I've immediately got that. I've got I've got an on-play effect as well. So let's say I wanted to delete one of my opponent's level 5s or lower if he's got that on. Delete Ghostmon. That goes. I still get my search. Get the cards I want. So you can see how this build works. It is literally, you cycle your deck. Which to me is what makes a deck like that really good. I've always liked that about zombie builds, undead creatures and stuff, is that you can do those kind of builds. I'm just sorting this out because I'm one of them. There we go. There we go. But it gives you an idea of what you can do with this kind of deck. And put this on top because I like to show the signature one now. But you get the idea of this is what you can do with this kind of deck. And I like that about decks like this. You get to show off that cycle and reboot. There are ways around this though, I'm not going to lie. I have a mate beat this because I go to a local club to play tournaments weekly. Well, once every 2 weeks because that's the rule of it. Because Digimon's just not as popular as Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic. But I've started playing Magic mostly for fun. I'm not tournament playing because I would not last. And Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't really play anymore, mostly online, but I do speak to my mates still about it. But I am mostly Digimon now when it comes to my board games. Magic I play to pass the time, but it's but this deck, I think it's a good build for beginner players actually. Especially if you want to put that little extra money in to buy certain things. There's all sorts of websites you can go to. I choose Big Orbit and Chaos cards mostly because I've always had the best results from them. Some cards have not been available, which can be a nightmare. But if one doesn't have it, the other one usually does. But and me and my mates usually trade stuff as well. So we support each other when we're building stuff. Like some of my Spurs stuff from that I used to have in this, I've given to my mate who's building his. So comment down below what you think of this deck. Me, I think it's a good build. It's not tier 1, it's not Galantmon, but it's a good build if you get everything played right. So leave your comments below, let me know what other decks I could do if I do build any more decks. And until then, this is General Phoenix, signing off.